What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Speakeasy Podcast. Got my boys back, and this week we got a guest, so we ain't alone this week. But we like what we did last time, so I think we're gonna do it again.
Bar Babble
coming back. Got a lot of great reviews. People engaged. They like it. It's coming back. Actually, we just fucking loved it, so we're doing it again.
Yeah, I don't really care what people thought.
I don't care what people say. I like it, man. How you guys doing? Good?
I just switched to Geico.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How much did you save?
A lot of money.
A lot of money.
Yeah.
I'm going to try it. Did you go directly to Geico, or did you go through AIS or something?
Well, I was outside looking for a lizard.
Oh.
A gecko.
But
Nice try.
Nice try, Tony.
At least
Nice
he has
try.
a
I
license.
expect way better than
You
than
want
that.
me to do a set for you. That's what you're going to get.
No, I want you to do a comedy set for yourself. It's not for me. You're funny and you're good. And I mean, that wasn't a good example, but he's you guys seen it. He's funny as hell.
You've seen it.
You've seen
It's
it.
episode 12.
It's episode 12. You've definitely seen it. If you haven't seen it, go back, rewind time, and go engage in our last 11 episodes. We're killing this fucking podcast game. So today, who do we have to our left? Introduce, please.
I don't really know. I
Just brought him in.
Yeah,
Just brought him in.
I just walked in off the
he
street.
had a Rice Krispie treat edible,
You did.
and you guys smoke.
That's
so.
one way
Wait.
you get in here for
Well, I
like, just
can't
whatever.
share this
Wait,
with
that
my
Rice
mom now.
Krispie have. Wait, what did that Rice Krispie have in?
At good times.
THC.
Oh no, I'm sorry, Grandma.
Sugar,
Just kiss her. Just
wheat.
give her a kiss.
Marshmallows.
Yeah, we did, just full disclosure, we had a Rice Krispie treat, so we'll see how
In about 20 minutes, this happens.
Let's see what happens.
And I didn't sleep last night, so
he might just fucking fall asleep right now.
I might fall off the chair.
I like it.
It's
So-
about 20 minutes.
I know Joe from. We went to high school together, actually.
All right.
And I don't know if you remember or not, but I had a hip hop column for a couple of years.
I do remember.
411mania.com.
I used to write there.
Right. I had asked you to
Hip-hop.
give me a douche of the week, and you sent in a little blurb from some idiot that did something. Well, before you, Josh did it for me. Joseph, did I take a piece of that?
Yeah, probably. I think he has some of that edible as well.
I think
But-
you called him Josh because him and I look similar. Like we're
I get that.
both strikingly handsome. We're both wearing black.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
I wear black every day.
Yeah. Oh, I got it.
For the record, I go by any name that pretty much starts with a J as long as it's not derogatory.
All right, that's
Because I
good.
tell people my name and they say all kind of stuff. Josh, J,
Yeah.
What would, be,
Jacob.
what would be derogatory in a J?
Um,
Jehovah's Witness?
Probably.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just used to always closing the windows and the doors when it comes to Jehovah's Witnesses. So, you know, I don't want to be associated with that. So, yeah, that'll
Yeah.
probably be the most
I fucking
derogatory
hated those
thing.
motherfuckers.
Oh, my mom used to make us lay on the ground. I thought someone was shooting.
Right?
I was like, somebody shooting
This shit
outside?
gets all CIA. You're like creeping across the window.
Mom,
I was
what's going on?
tiptoeing towards the door so they wouldn't hear me.
She's like, get on the floor, get on the floor. And she closed the blinds.
I had to turn down the little rascals and shit. Just
I've
so
always
they wouldn't
been
fucking hear
very
me.
interested in what they had to say.
Okay, to tell you the truth, I do like their little pamphlets, their Watchtower magazines. It had some good, like, animations in it.
Really?
Yeah, I was always into, like, graphics and cartoons and stuff like that, so...
You know what? I kind of feel you now because that's why I would go to Sunday school. Besides the hot dog and the chips that they gave you a coloring book every Sunday. Now, just the fact that it was a coloring book, I was in. I was like,
I don't think I
drawing
made it
out
that
of-
far. I used to get kicked out of Sunday school
No,
all the time
man.
for asking questions about dinosaurs.
But I was just a fat boy. I just remember all my friends coming back with like chips and sodas and shit. I'm like, where'd you guys
Yeah.
go? I want that shit.
I always got in trouble for coloring out of line when I did Jesus' beard. I always got smacked for that.
You know, one time they came to the door and gave me a pamphlet, and it was Jesus with short hair and a really nice beard.
So
And
it's
I'm like, what is
hipster.
this? College years?
Yeah.
What is this? Yeah, they were pretty offended.
They
by
must have
that.
stopped by on a Thursday.
College.
My favorite personal
Throwback.
image of Jesus is the one my grandmother had on her in her kitchen. It was a black Jesus, and he had dreads. He was all buff and he had abs. And
You sure it wasn't like she was going to use a picture of Bob Marley or?
no, it wasn't Bob Marley. It was Jesus
It was
for sure, because he
Black
was
Jesus.
on the cross and everything, but he was dreaded up. And I mean, even E40 confirmed that Jesus had dreads.
I would like to think that if it was Black Jesus, that he would, since he was Jesus, he'd have like a Jerry curl. I think
Maybe
it'd
if
be
he
more
was around the
Probably.
80s.
They didn't have no
Yeah.
product.
Yeah, they
back
didn't have the
then.
product back
dread
We
then.
don't
makes
know
much
that he
more
turned
sense.
water into wine. He could have been like poof.
Because it's
He
matted.
would have been If you turn water into activator, hey, if he did that miracle, then there'd probably be no question in anybody's mind that there was
Moonwalking
a
and healing
Christ
blind
walking
people.
earth.
I can't imagine how those churches would get much louder, much more enthusiastic.
Come to church and get your hair done for free.
My mom was like an equal Jesus opportunity person because she had black Jesus and white Jesus.
Nice.
She had both of them. She has like a little card that she carries in her purse, totally black Jesus, and then the walls it was the golden version of it. But we were mainly Virgen de Guadalupe people.
Why do I feel like within the first 5 minutes of each episode we alienate an entire base of our crowd?
I think that's part of our job.
I think let's just get it out of the way.
Just filter it out, you know?
Yeah.
We don't need you
And
guys
then
here.
Get on with
I
real
think that's
stuff.
just God taking over.
Jesus, take the wheel.
Yes, exactly. Jesus is taking the wheel.
Rice
of the
Krispie,
Speakeasy
take the
podcast.
wheel.
We have that because of Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let
he
me
did
try to
put that
catch
on
up
this
to you
earth.
guys.
For you and I to share. We're all God's children,
All of us.
Well,
Yeah, that guy.
unless you.
some more than others.
Yeah.
That's true.
So,
Speaking of God's children.
speaking of God's children, let's talk about the City of Angels.
Okay.
All right. LA is a place where I believe you frequent quite a bit. And I know this because he invites me every week. And I have this small radius of safety, right, where I won't go further than a particular distance.
Which is?
Roughly as far as bottoms up is to my house. That's about it.
So that's like a 2-mile radius.
No.
Not even.
Not even. It's a little further. No, but I'm frightened of the idea of going to LA and being so far away from home. And I don't know if it's
Yeah,
because I'm
so
getting
far.
Yeah, that's far for me.
It's fucking 20 minutes without traffic.
That's
How's
dangerous.
that far?
So much can happen.
Okay, now you're talking about something else. Now you're talking about the danger involved because you know your behavior. So you don't want to be all the way in downtown LA given the way you behave.
True.
When you go out.
Because one
You want to
time
go to the Twin Tower like, oh, let's not discuss
I don't know if you were with me that night.
Discuss it.
There was one night where There was one night where I had to call my mom to pick us up. I think you were with me, and it may have been with Angie. I don't know.
I doubt I
but
was
mom
there.
showed up in a fucking robe in a
I would have
van. In a
remembered
van.
that. I would
And-
have tweeted it. I was
This may
heavy
have
on
been
Twitter at
this
that
may have
time. I
been
would've
before
tweeted it.
Twitter.
Okay, definitely. I don't think we even knew each other before Twitter.
Really?
No.
I don't know.
I like how you were heavy with Twitter at that time. When did you fall out? Did you have a falling
Yeah, I
out with
had
Twitter?
a falling out with Twitter.
Yeah.
I would say Twitter kind of died out for me maybe about 3-4 years ago. I mean, it used to be my go-to social media platform. I particularly enjoyed Black Twitter, which is another universe.
What?
Oh,
Is
yeah,
that
yeah. There's a
different?
Black
That's
Twitter.
a thing?
Black
That's a
Twitter is
thing. Black
beautiful.
Twitter is a thing.
How no one told
Is
me
that like the
about
black market? Like what
Because
goes out
not
there?
everyone's welcome. But the Black Twitter is a thing. If you click on the hashtag, you might enter the universe. You might be able to just see a couple tweets.
What
or
kind
so.
of things will I find in Black Twitter?
You will find anything that moves the culture. I mean, anything that you see that's popular or anything that's like getting the most attention in the media is usually like directed by Black Twitter.
Every meme that you see today was on Black Twitter 2 weeks ago. All right.
Like we've already like grilled it and. it
My
came up
favorite
with
part
all
about
the
this
jokes.
podcast is I learned so much.
They're on the 8th SpongeBob meme now, right?
More than that, it's like a SpongeBob meme every week. Like I just have random SpongeBob pictures in my photo album on my phone, and like if someone went through my phone, they'll be like, "Okay, what's your thing with SpongeBob?"
Pedophile or illustration enthusiast?
I'll go with the latter. But yes, Black Twitter is a thing. Black Twitter gets very active around any TV special dealing with any type of black phenomenon that's going on. Say like a Beyonce performance.
So Coachella right now
Coachella,
is
yeah,
on.
Beachella.
Beachella.
It's no
They
longer
don't even
called
Coachella.
It's no longer
Coachella?
Coachella. She changed the name.
Wow.
Cardi
the
B.
BET Awards come on. Cardi B. Cardi B pretty much made a career through Black Twitter.
Yeah.
She
Now, I
kinda-
don't know if you know this about Twitter, but if you tweet a certain amount of times in one day, one sitting, they will block you from tweeting.
You will go to Twitter jail.
And that's what he called Twitter jail. And he had to make a second account with bars on his face
That's how
saying
heavy.
he was in Twitter jail.
That's how heavy I was.
How
I
many
would go in
times-
Twitter jail. It would be if you tweet, I believe, over 100. 100 and something
Wow,
times
that
in
sounds
an
like a
hour,
lot.
within an hour.
Yeah.
What?
Or maybe 100 tweets within an hour. If you were do that many within an hour,
Something
you would go
like
to
that.
Twitter jail.
That's like Asian schoolgirl
crazy.
status.
So I at one point I did have a second Twitter account. By the way, you guys could follow me on Twitter, Instagram.
Are you still on there?
Give
Joe
him
J Page. That's the name on
Spell
all
Page
platforms.
for him?
Page is spelled Paige.
And look for me on Black Twitter. I'll be on there. soon.
I invited him for he got a good 4 hours to check it out.
He gave me the pass.
Your
I gave
vanilla
him the
gorilla.
code.
He gave me the call.
Your vanilla gorilla would be on
The
Black
code
Twitter.
was George Wheezy.
Yeah.
Josh, too easy. I like that shit.
So the reason why I bring up LA is because of how frequently you go there. And I mean, there was a time where I'd be with you like on a weekly basis. I've been to places I don't even know what they're called. Like you'd be like, remember when we went to the Globe? And I'm like, I don't even what. I don't, so just wanted to kind of highlight the LA environment as specifically with music. There's like so many. I mean, I think we're spoiled. We live in an area
We live in a
where
big city, so,
there's a concert. Like there's probably a concert going on right now.
Every
I'm
day.
going to
Yeah.
the concert after this.
Every day.
There you go. What were you gonna see?
I'm going to see Jessie Ware.
See, I don't.
I don't even know who that is.
No, actually, that name
It's a
sounds familiar.
British artist.
Really?
I was
Yeah.
gonna say that sounds like a white boy.
Is it?
It's a girl. But
Ooh. Close enough.
Well, the reason why I bring it up is I want to know how important it is to you in that environment and to all of us really to drink. You know, because music is something that I think is a form of alcohol, if you will. Like it's euphoric. It brings you to a different level.
Could be
So,
intoxicating.
yeah.
Very.
So, like when you're in that arena and you're drinking, does it, enhance because think of it this way. When people go to Coachella, they're going for a number of reasons. One of the biggest reasons to do drugs.
No, they just go so that they can tell people, "Hey, I'm at Coachella."
Yeah, that's what they're
That would
doing
be my
now.
reason.
Now it's just a
They're-
cool.
It's like more annoying than CrossFitters.
Yeah.
We get it. Okay, I got it.
Well, after you tell everybody that you're at Coachella, you realize that you're really there, and someone's gonna hand you acid or marijuana
You're
or
doing
whatever.
shrooms for sure.
I just think they go to just dress as weird as possible.
Yeah.
It's just the weirdest outfits I've ever seen in my
Chance
life.
for me to put flowers in my hair.
Fishnets and G-strings.
This isn't weird to
together.
me.
Yeah, because bottoms up is like Coachella, and you're there all the time.
I've never heard bottoms up be compared to Coachella.
But now there's something
Drugs, there's
to compare it.
alcohol, there's
There's
music.
butt cheeks,
And there's
butt
music, have
Coachella.
titties popping out. Coachella, you call
I
that
have
shit
seen
too?
titties at Bottoms Up.
Yeah, they pop out every now
But
and
I'll
then.
admit it, man. That Coachella has been some of the funnest experiences I've had. I camped out there once for a whole weekend. That was fun.
Now, as much of a live music enthusiast that I am, for some reason I can't find myself to like pull the trigger on going to Coachella. I mean, because typically like a one-day ticket is like $500.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I'm gonna spend $500 to go to one event, knowing that I'm gonna have to stand up the entire day in the desert. I'll probably pass out. I'll be hungry. Something's gonna be uncomfortable for me. It's not gonna be a comfortable situation. And then the artists that I want to see, who's to say that I'm gonna even get up that close for when they go on stage?
If you want to see any artist, you got to go there like 4 hours before they're on and kind of hold your spot, especially if it's on the main stage.
Exactly, because if I say I went there on Saturday on Beachella night, like I would personally have gotten there maybe 10 hours prior to them opening the door, because I know the situation, I understand the enormity of it all, that like people are coming there to see her. So if I was to get there at a certain time and I didn't get a proper spot and I was way in the back somewhere, I'm like, I could have paid $500 and went to her own concert and sat front
You
row.
would have been up front row.
Yeah.
$500.
I would have been able to sniff her or something.
Yeah. Now we're talking. Tell me more about that.
Tell
What?
us about the first time you saw Beyonce.
So for the record, I am part of the Beehive.
You were part what?
The Beehive.
Oh, is that what they're called?
That's what they're called.
You were
yeah.
the fan club? You were in the fan club?
I'm part of the community, I guess you could put it. And there's certain levels to it. There's some that
Subsection
are
of Black Twitter.
yes, it's a subsection. But some people are very obsessed, and then some people are just fans of the music. And for me, I wouldn't consider myself obsessed. Like I'm not gonna go on a tirade and defend her. If someone started to talk shit about her, like I'm not a fan like that. However, I do recognize her greatness. And when I first went to a
Her
concert,
greatness.
yes,
Yeah.
her greatness.
You gotta use your
and the
hand
camera. Is that the
gestures.
camera right there? Her
So you
greatness.
just realize.
That one.
Okay, and that one. Her greatness.
That one over there is greatness.
Hey, I want to be in the Beehive. I would like to say
You
sometimes
can be in the
her-
Beehive.
Sometimes I feel like her music is like taken out of my diary. Like, get out of my head, Beyonce. You're in there.
The
So weird to be
lemonade, I
connected,
could totally
Lemonade
feel
for
that's
sure.
about you.
I'm not even kidding.
I could totally feel that's about you.
The
Her
lemonade.
and Alicia Keys.
Those are your two girls?
Absolutely.
Oh, I like Alicia.
Yeah,
Alicia's
What do you think
cool,
about her? No more makeup.
She should put some makeup on.
Ooh.
Alicia Keys, she don't wear makeup anymore.
Yeah, good for her.
Committed to that.
She's
All natural.
she's there's certain people that are good natural, and then there's certain people that just need it. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong. We all go, our skin goes through different stages in life. And she's just not at that stage now to walk out with no concealer or something like that. Maybe a
Damn.
little blush or something will help her out.
Damn,
bit of rouge.
Joe.
I mean, if you're on TV, TV is HD now, so you can see every single detail on somebody's face, see craters and shit. It's okay, you can't just walk
See
out
your
like
craters.
Yeah. It's in 4K. I can see it.
that. But back to
For
Beyonce. So
craters?
the first time I went to a Beyonce concert was on accident, pretty much. My brother was going with some friends of his that were from out of town. They couldn't make it because their flight got delayed, or it was something like that. So he was like, "Hey, I don't want to go to this concert by myself. Do you want to take my tickets? And then my friends' tickets, I'll just sell them." So we did that. I went by myself. And anyone that knows me knows I have no problem doing anything by myself. So I was like, okay, I'll go check out the
Amen to
concert,
that.
whatever. At that point, I was sort of like a passive fan. I liked a few songs here or there, but nothing she did or has done has really been oh my God, she's a queen. I wasn't at that level yet. So when I went to the show, it was at the Staples Center. I'll never forget this experience. She sort of had this intro where there was a drum roll, and then there was a huge curtain up there, and it just said nothing but B. And then she had her dancers come out, and they came on in this marching line, and then all of a sudden she popped up out the ground like a glazed Pop-Tart.
Oh, dang.
And
I
I
like
literally
that.
fell back into my seat. I was standing up. Everyone was standing up waiting for her to come out. And when she popped out, I literally just fell back into my seat. And then it was just fire everywhere.
You
and
I think you saw the Holy Ghost.
this is when I'll get to that. The Holy Spirit came pretty much later. But what I felt in that moment is what I think a lot of those white girls in Europe felt when Michael Jackson would come on stage. I remember I watched those videos and they'll start crying and paramedics will have to drag them out.
Yeah.
I thought at the end of the night I was going to have a paramedic come get me. That's how I felt at that moment.
I don't think I've ever experienced something like that.
I have. Sorry, Jonas Brothers.
I don't know if any other... I mean, I've been to a lot of concerts, a lot of different genres. I don't know if anyone would ever give me that same experience.
I totally agree with you. I've been to we're all very passionate about music, and there are shows that I've been to, and if it's a band I'm totally into, I just get I'm lost on
Yeah.
the music. No one else is around me.
I could go with a bunch of friends, and as soon as that show starts, peace out. I'll see you when I see you. We'll meet up afterwards. Because I go to a lot of rock shows. So I love being in the front. I'll get in the front. I don't give a shit what I got to do.
You mosh pit?
I'm mosh pit. I elbow my way in there. And if I'm with a girl, I'll take her with me because the mosh pit is actually the safest area you could be. The edge of a mosh pit is the safest area that you could be. You get all the fresh air. Everybody's kind of protecting you. It's dope. It's dope. I love it.
I've been in a mosh pit before.
You have?
Yeah, I forget what show it was, but I've been in a mosh pit. It wasn't by choice. I just kind of fell in it because I guess the mosh pit started a little bit ahead of me.
Was there other music genres playing that day? How did you find
I'm
yourself?
sure it was a rock show. I forget who it was exactly, but because I go to a lot of random shows as well. And I just entered in the mosh pit accidentally.
What? I'm starting to notice something here with you. You seem very diverse. How did that come about? Where did you get your influences from?
As in my music taste?
Yeah, and things and even by yourself to some of these events and just that's something that people won't do. I'm still waiting to go to the movies by myself. I still haven't done it. I keep saying I'm gonna do it. It hasn't happened yet. How did this happen for you?
I think for me, I take a lot of time to get to know myself. And by getting to know yourself, sometimes you got to be by yourself. Because if you have other people there, it's like you have this influence dragging you into it. It's like, okay, I'm only acting this way or saying this or doing this because this person's here. But say another person was here, I might have been doing things differently. But like, who are you when it's just you? And I think that's kind of how I got there. And I think it was brought on mostly because when I was younger, I didn't have a lot of friends. So I just grew up learning how to entertain myself, knowing how to just be comfortable around me. And that's pretty much what started it off. So, and then on top of things, me just being into all different type of stuff, like I don't really know anyone that's into, say, doing this. So it's like I got to do it by myself because if I tell someone else, they're going to be like, oh, what's that? Who's down? Who's going to be there? And I don't got time for all those questions. Like,
That's what you got to do, people.
Just come and experience it.
If you want something done and no one's like, oh, they won't go with me, fucking go. Just go.
Yeah, I told you about my 2-question limit. Did I tell you about that?
No.
Yeah, whenever I'm going somewhere and I invite a friend or friends, they have 2 questions before I disinvite them. Typically it's
disinvite. Like,
yeah,
how does that even go down?
It's like
so they have to make the decision, and they're allotted 2 questions before they decide.
Yeah, most newer friends don't know this, right? It's like, hey, I'm gonna go to this thing. Do you want to go? And I'm not vague about it. Like, I'm going to this specific spot tomorrow night. Do you want to go? Oh, well, who's going? I hate that fucking question.
Right.
What does it matter?
I'm going, bitch. The fuck.
Right? Yeah. And then the second question that I'm not a fan of, which it's been a while since a friend has asked me this, but it used to happen a lot when I was younger, is, are there going to be bitches? Now,
That's the worst.
There's numerous reasons why I dislike, aside from just calling a group of women you've never met bitches.
Yeah.
The reality of the fact is that you're not going to talk to them anyways. So why does it matter if there's going to be 30 females if you're not even going to approach one of them?
Yeah.
So, it's just, I found it to be a stupid question. So yeah,
Stop asking stupid questions.
Some people just like to see bitches.
That's
Like,
true.
if they know they're not going to talk to any bitch,
Yeah.
they're like, I just want to be in the vicinity of bitches.
I just like to look. I don't like to talk to pretty women because
vicinity?
it makes me
Yeah.
vomit.
All right,
In the
bitches,
vicinity.
we need to take a break right now. So stay tuned, little short break, and we'll be right back with Joseph / Joshua / Black Jesus Beehive member. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go. Sounds pretty dope. Just saying. At least we get like our vibe in. What the fuck was that?
You said we're getting the vibe in.
Yeah, what was that vibe? I'm getting raped vibe?
I might have had stroke.
Like, someone stuck an ice cube in my butthole
might have
vibe?
had a
What the
stroke.
fuck was that? I was like, ooh.
and you figure out what hooch
I
was?
can't feel left side of my body.
It's in the back of my head.
Oh, what's up, y'all?
Welcome back, everybody. Back from a little break. We got our boy here. What are we calling him again? Josh?
Yeah.
Or are we calling him Joseph? What are we
I
calling
can
him?
go by my online moniker, Joe J. Page, which is the same name.
Joe
You guys
J.
can follow
Page.
me.
He's trying to get it out there if you'll
Yeah.
notice that.
Paige.
P-A-I-G.
Hold up.
Joe J. Joe, is it Joe J? What's that?
Joe J.
Joe J.
Joe J.
Joe
Page.
J. Find him on
Page.
Black Twitter.
There you
Yes,
go.
on Black Twitter. Heavy
them-
on Black Twitter.
Tell them how you used to introduce yourself. Remember?
I've had many introductions, but a lot of times especially in bars. When you're in an environment where it's loud music and people can barely hear you, and my voice is pretty soft, so I would say, "Hi, my name is Joseph," and people are like, "Oh, all right," and I say, "Oh, like Jesus Father."
That's it. That's what I was looking for.
And that's typically how I introduce myself to people.
And they were like, who was Jesus' father?
It works in a lot of ways because, like, the majority of people know who Jesus' father was, and then also it kind of just gives you a good look. Like, like people they're gonna think holy when they see you. They'll be like, "Oh, this guy reminds me of like holiness." And
By
all
the time you
things that are-
introduce yourself as a relative of Kobe and Obama.
Oh, That was back in the day.
So
I don't play that card as often.
So I know there's white privilege. Is there
I mean,
a privilege
supposedly.
to being black as well? Is there like
Supposedly.
those avenues where because you're black, there's some advantages?
Yeah, it's called having a.
There has to be some balance. Because if there's evil, there's good. If there's white privilege, it's got to be black privilege.
Yeah, have you seen this guy's penis? I mean, I haven't.
That
but
went left.
that's
Someone went hard on my IG. Right? They went digging deep.
I went the deep cuts. I'll go back 52 weeks. I don't give a fuck.
And you'll like it.
Yeah, I don't like it. Fuck it. What are you gonna do?
No, I'll double tap that shit.
I don't care.
52 weeks.
Well,
I don't
You know
care
what? There's actually a book that Charlemagne the God, if you listen to his radio show Hot 97, there's actually a book he just wrote about black privilege, and
Really?
yeah,
He goes hard on people.
and
Yeah, I like it.
I guess if you want to equate the two, perhaps the privileges that being black gives you is not necessarily all that great. I mean, you're usually like the coolest person on the dance floor,
Oh yeah.
even if you're not that great of a dancer. Like I know I'm not that great of a dancer, and then I could
I'm
do
a
like
sick ass dancer.
I do like one move, like one little pop, and then I'm
Yeah.
Chris Brown all of a sudden. So the white
All you
people,
just gotta do is like one of these, and then the white people are like, oh damn.
they're like, oh damn, I'm
Like you do this, and you're 100 times better than I am. But
They were like,
okay.
teach me how to snap like
Yeah.
that. Like, oh
can't
my
snap
god,
a
like
rhythm.
Becky, did you see him snap on the beat?
Yeah.
On beat.
It was on beat.
Put it on
What
that
is
beat.
that about?
No metronome.
I'm a metronome. He's so on beat.
There's certain privileges depending in the atmosphere you're in, the location you're at, what the
Basketball.
situation are. They're usually not nothing to like write home about, but
Right.
I mean, there's times where like being the black person is the coolest thing in the room. When certain conversations happen, people tend to turn your way and see what
What
your
you think.
opinion is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get that a lot. Maybe
Is that true? They always look at you. Is
y'all
that
really
true?
like Kool-Aid? Yes, I do. But
Yeah, and
He told Tony they really like watermelon, so he made these drinks that taste like
we
watermelon.
are drinking watermelon like
Literally
Beyonce.
tastes like watermelon.
Cucumber
I
and
turn everything back
cranberry
into Beyonce. Like,
Well, it turns out cucumber and cranberry taste like watermelon
with
together.
a little bit of Mountain Dew.
Yeah, that's where the cancer comes. I like it.
Amen.
yellow 5.
Yellow number 5.
So now that we bring up race, there's a lot of hot things happening. One of the things we kind of brought up earlier, not in the show, but we talked off air, is the whole Starbucks fiasco. What are your thoughts about that shit?
Yeah. Well, before we ask you,
yeah, what
I
happened?
want to amplify
Oh, yeah.
the idea that this man has never been without a cup of Starbucks anywhere, and looking, there's no Starbucks here.
Oh, so
Okay,
you always have some Starbucks on you.
I usually go, if not once a day, once every other day.
So you on that rewards program?
Yes,
You got
I get my
stars.
free refills. I am a gold member on top of a gold member on top of a gold member. Like
Sounds
I
like an
renewed
orgy.
my gold member status maybe about 6 or 7 times.
You gonna cancel it now?
No, I'm not gonna cancel it.
Hey, we're going to Pete's Coffee now. Fuck you, Starbucks.
The whitest coffee
Y'all got
shop
me fucked
ever.
up.
You know what?
Not
I
even
actually,
put Pete's Coffee in any hood.
so here's what I feel about the Starbucks thing, and I'm not being
Well, let's
partial just
bring up
because.
what did happen. Let's talk
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah,
Okay,
first
for
of all-
those that live under a rock,
Yeah.
if you've been paying attention, there was a Starbucks in Philadelphia, and there were 2 black men in there. I believe they were real estate agents, and they were waiting for a client or a business partner to come in.
A business partner.
And like a lot of people, like myself, are typically late to things. Someone could be late, and then you're just sitting there waiting for them, and you might not necessarily want to order something prior until they get there. In a lot of cultures, it's kind of rude to sit somewhere and order before the whole party is there.
That's true.
So we don't know the case, why they chose not to order or not. However, I can say for myself, I personally sat in Starbucks many a times for hours on hours on hours. Granted, I would order something, but I don't necessarily walk in the store, walk up, make my order, then sit down. A lot of times I sit down first and, I get my computer out and set my things up, whatever I'm going to do for that day. And I just never until this incident, thought about it in this way. I never thought that that can be an outcome of you walking into coffee space and you just taking a seat and someone perceiving you as being a threat just by sitting and waiting there.
I sit there and work on my script for hours, and they don't look at me twice.
They should.
Yeah.
You look like you don't write.
Especially when your computer's not on.
But,
So what happened to them?
So, I guess to fast forward the story a bit, I'm guessing the manager or whoever was in charge, for some reason, thought they should call the cops on these
Because
guys.
she's racist.
For some reason.
Yeah, I didn't want to take it there, but
I'll take it there. She's
Okay.
racist. That's why she got fired.
Well, we don't know. She might have just moved to another Starbucks.
She probably
No,
got a
she
she
got-
probably got a
she left the
promotion.
company.
She got a promotion.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, she's probably going to be the CEO now.
Yeah. They gave her own franchise.
She got hired by Pete's Coffee.
They're like, guess what?
She's working at the Coffee Bean now.
Well, they got arrested. There were people that were in the Starbucks who were questioning the cops and wondering what was going on. Why were these people being arrested? And my whole idea about the situation is there's a lot of times where things happen and perhaps the cops are called and maybe the error happened there. But why did it escalate to being arrested? You have to have a reason to arrest someone. And why were these guys arrested? I'm sure they explained their situation. And then from what I hear, the guy who they were waiting on came in the store and sees the cops arresting his friends, and he's wondering what the hell's going
He
on.
starts questioning them and calls them out.
Yeah,
It's like,
so
what are you doing?
I think it all comes down to like a discussion of discrimination. I mean, anyone can be discriminated against. You can be discriminated against your color, your weight, your height, whatever. People could take any type of issue with something about you and then pursue something about you and then, cause things like this to happen. But I think this is not really on the onus of Starbucks. I would place it more on the particular manager or whoever was in charge that made that police call. And then I would take it down to the actual officers who came and made the arrest, knowing that there wasn't really a crime that took place.
I think a lot of the issue comes in the response of the company. So in this particular case, I think Starbucks is going to be just fine because I don't know if you know this, May 29th they're closing all they're closing all their US Starbucks to have training on race. And that's what they're having a training on. And I thought they're literally going to lose millions and millions of dollars.
Billions.
Probably with a B. But that to me speaks volumes. How the fuck can you hate on that? They got rid of the girl that made the call. That was a ridiculous decision. And he's just owning it. He's demanded a meeting with the two guys that got arrested. I'm talking about the CEO, by the way. I forgot his name, but he's doing so much. He went out there with his whole team to just talk to people and engage with people. And I think that response helps it be all smooth. Because I think that's how you should respond. How did we fuck up? He literally says, how did we fuck up? Not fuck up, but his
Personally,
CEO
I
talk.
think all black people should get a free Starbucks on that day when they do their own. Just if you're black, you should just be able to walk
Well,
to
I
Starbucks.
think
and be
you
like,
don't
I
want
need
it
a
on
caramel
that day because it's gonna be closed that day.
No, they need to have one employee just to stay there and make fraps for.
And they
for all
only
the
serve black
that come
people.
by.
That's it, all day.
Hey, you got to be like my black. You can't.
Damn,
you can't
man,
be
that
like.
shit.
You,
A whole day they turn everybody that's not black away. Sorry, we're not serving you today.
yeah, you can't come in there and like caramel color and try to get a. They might charge you, give you 50% off, but
They
like
can tell Drake no.
no, Drake would he get 50% off. Drake would get 50% off.
Yeah, that's true though. I don't know.
Obama
sometimes
would get 50% off.
I go to the Starbucks in my neighborhood and I order a black coffee, and they're sometimes like, "You sure you want some cream in there?" Make it better. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good."
By the way, he lives in Irvine,
Yeah.
so that makes sense.
do you say?
There's a lot of cream in Irvine.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of cream, a lot of yellow
over there.
cream.
A lot of yellow and white cream.
That was racist.
Super,
Yeah.
super. Let's keep alienating people.
I
while we're at
try
it.
to be racist at least every episode.
Well,
You're doing well.
when it comes down to the apology and the actions being taken by Starbucks, I think a lot of it is just to save face. However, I think there could be a lot of good that comes out of this, because now you have this huge company that had an incident happen and they took action swiftly, and they said we need some sensitivity training.
Yeah.
And when it comes to other issues of discrimination, whether it be in the workplace, whether it's like police brutality, anything in that nature, this could be like the cornerstone of like where that training takes place, where they could look back at Starbucks and said, this is what we did. We taught our employees not to, racially discriminate against anyone, not to have these biases when you're at work.
There could be something good that comes out of it. Is other Fortune 500 companies could be like, look, this is what they did.
I just hope they
did the
move their
right thing.
attention to the smelly bums and treat them like that, too.
Yeah. Hey, the guy playing the guitar on the patio, like, fuck off.
I'm more offended
Yeah.
by the long-haired douche that's chilling there
Yeah.
than two
Yeah,
black guys
yeah.
that are real estate agents. By the way, they need to take this and make signs and just be like,
Yeah.
like
Starbucks Realty. we won't
Maybe
kick you out of-
Starbucks could buy a few houses off
Yeah,
of them.
we won't
Just-
kick you out of the house. We'll just sell your house.
It reminds me of the time. I don't know if you remember this, probably because it happens so often. But I wrote a poem about it. We went to, I think, Chili's. We ordered food. We had a good time, and it was just you and myself. And the lady had talked to me the entire night. She didn't say a word to you, like not one. And then at the end of the night, she handed the bill to just me. And this guy was dressed up. I mean, Joe always dresses nice, right? And
Except today.
and he
So
was
today I'm a little bummy
right.
today.
But it's still polo,
I
right?
barely made it here. I barely made it on time.
And
I just threw this
it
on.
was funny because you were paying that day, like you were paying the bill, and like I don't remember
I
what
really
it was
don't
for,
remember this
but
now.
yeah,
This sounds made up.
no, but so it's funny because it's not something that happens a lot with when we're going out, but it may very well be because I'm oblivious to it because I don't really pay attention to it. So it's interesting how like I mean you told me one time you literally have to wake up every day and that's just it is what it is like.
I think if if you're any type of minority in this country, but particularly being a black person and everything going on, you kind of have like more than two ears. Like you listen with your ears and you hear things that people say and you observe things with your eyes and you take in what's going on for the base value of it. But then there's that other side of you that wonders what is the internal message of what this person is saying or what they're doing. Are they treating me a particular way because of the way I look, because of who I am?
Have you felt that today?
No, not at all. This is a very safe space.
This is an art studio, so I hope it is. No, I genuinely asked that because we clown a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you've never met us, at least us two. You've met Tony. Obviously, you guys are friends for forever. So I asked that because it could easily, without knowing somebody, you could take it a certain way.
I think it depends on sort of your level of maturity with it. Mm-hmm. And I say that as your own maturity, as the person who you might think is being offended. There's like certain levels you go through in your experience where it's like, certain things are going to happen. Certain things are going to be said, whether it's meant to be harmful or whether it's done and jokingly. It's going to happen. So you get to a point where it's just kind of like, okay, I understand this is what it is because of what it is. And I'm not going to let it ruin my day. I'm not going to let it offend me. I'm just going to, I might throw a joke in myself. But, you could choose to be offended and you could choose to go about your life and then, take on the bigger battles.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think I wouldn't want to walk all around all day trying to determine if I'm going to be pissed off that day or worry about what's coming my way. I live in a very, very white neighborhood. It's actually all over the news right now because they don't want to be a sanctuary city. So they're last night, as a matter of fact, they're all protesting. You might have seen it on the news. Trump supporters versus a bunch of paisas who just want to live there and play their cumbias and want to be protected by the city, and they ain't having it. And I to this day, and I've lived in a lot of white areas. San Clemente, Carlsbad, Los Alamitos. I mean, those super, super white. To this day, although I'll acknowledge the following, let me say this first and I'll acknowledge something. I actually have never experienced racism at those places. And I tended to be one of the brownest ones there. Like, seriously, mainly white and it's if anything, it's been love. Like I walk around with my Dodger gear, my Raider gear, and that actually stimulates the conversation. Old ass white ladies come up like, the Raiders are doing good this year, huh? And all of a sudden, their families are still Raider fans and stuff like that. I just thought it's nice. In my head, I don't walk around that I'm a minority or like to be guarded up because I'm in a mainly white community. Just do what I do, and whatever happens, happens. And to this day, it still hasn't happened. You know, for the first time, I actually felt it the other day, and it was just a look. I drove by this guy, and he just gave me this sinister ass look. Like, what are you doing in my city, bro? And I felt that in the look. And that was the first time, and it lasted like 10 seconds. I'm like, fuck that guy.
What song were you playing?
I'm out. It was Tupac. It was Tupac. And and that might have been it, but I was definitely bumping it, for sure. Right? I just haven't experienced it. And then I got a white best friend over here who's lost in space because that Rice Krispies fucking coming through. He's fucking staring like, you guys catch that right now?
Yeah.
What? He's like, what's on
You know, it's interesting because one of the things that, I mean, you know, as well as anyone, I love black culture. Whether it's like the least common denominator, like love and hip hop, or the most interesting aspects of it, like growth of a human being under turmoil. And it just makes me laugh, like, the things that people try to put the black community down for is like, y'all know already, and you don't care. Remember that time we were at your house and the whole family paused a party to watch Love and Hip Hop in the living room?
It was an event.
It was an event.
Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, by the way. 'Cause the other ones are kind of subpar, but the Atlanta one is.
They don't fuck around the ATL.
Yeah, they did not. They did not.
So we're sitting on the steps because we ain't got no room.
Yeah, there was
everyone's on
nowhere to
couches
sit.
and everything. And it was the first time I'm like, Joe, I don't watch this shit. He's like, hey, you watching it now? Because they loved it. And it's like, when you look at that as an outside culture, you're like, this is a stupid ass TV show, you know. And you may even use that as a microcosm of black culture, right? Meanwhile, the black culture as a whole is like, this shit's comedy. Like, you know. So like, you can't. What I'm trying to say basically is that they take what you think may be insulting and say, this is ours. I don't give a fuck. Like,
well, I think that all ties back into the whole discrimination thing. It's you know, people have their perceptions of what they think people are, what people are going to be, and I think unfortunately, particularly in this country, a lot of people view black people as like a monolith. Like they're just it's one group of people from the same place, and they all act the same, they all do the same. But in reality, it's like black people are everywhere around the world.
Yeah, act differently. Not all black people talk the same, act the same, listen to the same kind of music.
Yeah, I mean,
Look at Yasiel Puig. Speak Spanish.
Black people in China.
He's not black.
Black people in China?
Yes, there are.
He's not black.
Yeah.
Like Chinese looking black people in China?
There's black people in
Or
China.
just
yeah.
black people in China?
There's both. Yeah.
What?
Those boats went everywhere.
Blasians.
That's how I like to.
Like Tiger
Blasians?
Woods. Like Tiger Woods. He's
Oh, yeah.
Blasian.
Oh, that's right. Good point.
Yeah.
Black people in Mexico.
Well, this leads me to the Cardi B. Okay, as an artist, I'm hearing a lot of things. I mean, I got the album. I enjoy it for what it is.
I was playing on the way.
Right.
Here.
I think that it's more than an anthem. It's just like, this girl.
It's a mood. It's a vibe.
Right? But a lot of the criticism isn't so much like, oh, she's a stripper. It's like, oh, she's a black stripper who, like, you know, just came up and doing this and this and that. And I'm like, and?
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
like, at least she knows who she is. Like,
she doesn't. She doesn't
don't
hide
fucking
away
front.
from it. She doesn't
She
deny
owns
it.
it.
She
Yep.
owns it, and I think that's part of her popularity. Like, I don't think she's really that talented. Like, some of the songs are catchy, but like part of her popularity is her personality. I mean, if you know anything about her come up, it was sort of like she was on the Love and Hip Hop show. But she only got on the show because she had like this huge following on IG, and people used to watch these crazy comedy videos she would make. And then all of a sudden she gets on the show, and she starts rapping, and then she was smart enough than all those other girls who's been on the show for years. Like, she actually took her music off and went and did her thing in the real world. So, but it ties back into just people viewing black people as just one thing, and it's like we have people in the ghetto who are pimps, strippers, gangbangers, whatever, and then you have CEOs. You know,
Yeah, people
it's
on
a
Wall
whole
Street.
it's a whole spectrum.
Even a president.
Right?
Yes, the president. I mean, and that's the thing. Like, you have all these different examples of black excellence in media, and it's still people would take the worst of you and then kind of associate that with everything that encompasses black culture. And I think that's where discrimination is born from. That's why the Starbucks lady called the cops on those two guys.
Yeah.
She didn't know they were real estate agents, that they were
Yeah.
She
professionals.
just saw two
She just
black
saw
guys,
black skin.
grabbed her purse, made a
And
decision.
she should have been holding her purse because she should have been working and making coffee. But I mean, that's where it all stems from. I think a lot of discrimination could be solved once people allow people to be who they are, regardless of their skin color or their personal biases.
Well, I think it needs to get deeper than that. I think institutionally it's unfavorable in that direction. Skin color, the darker it is, the more dangerous it is. You look at the educational system, you look at even medicine. I just recently saw a video of a doctor describing how she herself caught herself not giving this patient proper advice or taking the proper test simply because she was black, and she acknowledged it. She's like, she like caught herself and was like, what am I doing right now? Why am I not? Everything she's telling me right now, I should run an EKG. Everything she's telling me is like heart attack symptoms. Why am I not doing? She caught herself. And she's like, I think it's because in my brain, like I was affected by the color. And it's like, oh, just chill out. You know, you're going to be fine. And she caught herself and questioned herself. So she's like, if I caught myself, and she was a woman of color, she's like, and I caught myself doing this, what is everybody else doing? Like, how are you guys reacting? Because there was a disproportionate amount of that kind of situation happening and reoccurring. And I think it's institutional. That shift needs to change, in my opinion. So, 25 or 50 years down the line, this isn't even an issue anymore. It's just we're constantly being brainwashed. The mere exposure effect is hitting us in the face, and we get the same shit repeated and repeated. So it's these. You compare the movies. It's like the black characters are always the violent, dangerous ones. They get killed off first, and the white guy's usually the hero. It's very rare, which is why Black Panther did so well. Now we got a fucking black hero.
Shout out to Wakanda.
Yeah.
With that said, we're gonna take a quick little break, man.
Wakanda forever.
Wakanda forever. We're having a great conversation. We'll be right back. This show is being awesome. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Boom, boom, boom. Lick it, Josh. Lick it. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh shit! Hear that bass?
Jesus, is that you?
Is that Black Jesus?
It is.
Or is that White Jesus?
If that was Black Jesus, it would have been NWA.
White Jesus would have been yodeling.
Oh shit! Definitely acoustic guitar would have been playing or some shit.
It would have been Dave Matthews, man.
It would have been Dave Matthews' dad right there, just fucking hanging out. Welcome back, everybody. We're here with Joseph and Speakeasy
Joseph Josh.
Podcast. It's our favorite part of the show. It's a new segment we call Bar Babble. You might as well see it because the whole fucking last episode was all Bar Babble, and it was awesome and it was fun. So we brought it back. So this bag color was not intentional. It's just the one we use. And we want you to select the first topic, young man.
All right.
As Bar Babble works, he's going to pick a topic, and then we're going to talk about it for 5 minutes each.
It's very complicated. All
It's
right.
very super complicated. Let's go. Bar
All right.
Babble.
So our topic for today: what type of person would Speakeasy would not interview, or what type of person would Speakeasy not interview?
I don't know. I would say there's anybody. I don't think there is.
Stumped.
I just don't think there is someone that we wouldn't interview. Because even if they weren't my kind of people, it would probably make for a fun
It
show.
would still make for good, content to
Yeah.
good
I would even argue
conversation.
that I want people that
Yeah.
we don't like.
Yeah.
I would argue that.
I mean, I believe that you may be under the impression that I like these guys. I do not. At
He doesn't
all.
make me feel that way
No.
ever.
Yeah.
No, very rarely.
Completely. They bother the fuck out of me.
He's all about himself.
Very
Yep,
much so. In
selfish
fact, doing
bastard.
things by yourself. Next week, Speakeasy podcast featuring Tony Acero and Tony Acero
Yeah.
only.
And the
He's gonna have all
Midnights.
3 microphones in his mouth, and he's gonna be deep throating them, all of them.
All
at the
three,
same
all
time,
cameras
at the
pointed
same
at his
time.
fucked up beard.
Yeah, fuck his beard.
About as fucked up as your mustache.
Next one. Let's go. You pick.
All right.
Start that clock over.
All right. Speakeasy podcast brought to you by Effin' Vodka. This is a long
Boom,
piece.
boom, boom.
Actually, it wasn't brought to you by them. They don't even know that we exist.
Yeah, we're just trying to get some sponsorship.
All right.
Effing cucumber.
The topic is manscaping.
Manscaping.
Yeah. So, I mean, real quick, show of hands. Who manscapes here?
Shaft and balls only.
You just all hair?
I don't touch that area.
Whoa! What?
He looked like Wakanda down there. What the fuck? It's a jungle.
What kind of shit is
Black
that?
Panther comes out of there. Well, it just comes out of the jungle. What the fuck, dude? Really, no shaft, no cleaning, no trimming, no nothing.
I think the
No
most
clipping.
I think the most I might have done is just take like a pair of scissors and
then you
kinda
got
trim
scared?
it down. Not scared, but I mean like
That's the luxury of having
you
a
know,
lot of
I'm
shaft.
not really a
Yeah.
hairy person.
you don't,
like
you don't really need
my
to shave.
arms and legs
When
are
you got
smooth. Like
12
I'm
inches,
not
it
a
always
hairy
looks big.
person at all. I never was a hairy person.
All right.
I'm not. a
I
hairy
didn't get
person
that
either.
werewolf
I
gene.
don't do that either. Like well, first of all, I don't let women see my mommy daddy button, so I don't really worry about that so much. And again, I'm not
I
super
like how
hairy.
you included both genders.
Like,
I
I'm
thought it would just
really
be a
not
daddy
super
button.
hairy. No, it's mommy
Daddy
daddy
button.
button.
You know, I didn't know it was a
Yeah.
daddy mummy button. You know what I'm saying?
Just me and you.
Yeah, just me and you, bro. So you do.
Yeah.
Full
I
thing?
feel like you have. No, you know, it depends what kind of mood I'm in. You know, sometimes I'll put a T.
Oh, you do shapes
Yeah,
and
you
shit.
know, a little triangle. No, I'm just kidding. No, I just keep it clean.
So I trim the top, shave the rest.
Okay.
I never go fully shaven.
You ever
This is
accidentally
weird.
cut your nuts?
Not, not yet.
It's harsh, man.
No nuts. Because those nuts, the skin pulls, goes out and then tightens up, and that would hurt. It would probably take forever to heal.
You got
Kind of like a cut on your knee.
You got to stretch the skin. If you
I think it's
don't, you're
important
just-
to bleach your asshole though, because no one wants to see like a dirty starfish.
If I did that, my ass would look like Cisco. It would still be mainly black with just blonde hair. I don't think bleaching my ass up would do shit to make it look. It'd be like dun 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 dun. You know what I'm saying? All right, next one.
Ooh, that dress so scandalous.
Yeah. All right, let me see what I got here. Favorite go-to drink. What's your favorite go-to drink? Oh shit! I shouldn't have put it on back.
Zima.
Still riding that train.
There you go.
Not giving up. Bringing it back.
What are the rules to this? Do I get the answer?
Yeah,
go
Okay,
ahead and
so
answer, yeah.
my favorite go-to drink is I'm very much a if I wasn't drinking now, I'll be able to tell you what I drink. What do I drink?
You're forgetting right now?
Yeah.
While he's thinking about it,
not
I'm
him.
gonna answer.
Okay, I got it. Bombay Sapphire is my favorite.
Gin.
That's not-
Gin,
that's
my
not
favorite
good.
Little
go-to.
gin.
That was gonna be my guess.
Gin. Why was that gonna be your guess?
But not gin and juice.
Not gin and juice. I like tonic.
Yeah.
A little
It's
gin.
a very
Yours?
low
I like
calorie
gin.
drink.
I like gin. I like Tom Collins.
Oh, yeah, you do order
An
that.
original Tom. You know how many people order a Tom Collins and then get mad when I put gin in it?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was vodka. No, it's
no,
not.
It's a vodka.
It's not.
It's
It's a-
different.
It's the weak ass one.
Now, you guys are all well aware of my go-to drink, right?
Jack and
And
Coke.
Coke.
Right.
Heroin.
Yeah.
That's his drink. I am a whiskey and Coke, and that includes Scotch and
And
rye
bourbon,
and fucking
and
bourbon
it's all
and
the
whatever the fuck. No, but my go-to drink right now is Jameson on the rocks. That's my go-to. That's
Good one.
That's my go-to.
After about a minute of the ice melting just a little bit, perfect.
I like the ball.
Yeah.
I like the ice
Jameson
ball.
has its own sweetness
very
that carries over.
sophisticated.
I
Yeah.
like the ice ball, and it just melts perfectly. I love it. Your turn.
My turn.
You know,
What you got?
speaking of drinks, Frank's restaurant in Bellflower just released a menu
Wow.
of some amazing looking
No
drinks.
plug.
I saw it on IG. I saw it on IG.
Got all the
plug.
likes.
I double
I'll
tapped
back
it.
that shit
I
up.
double tapped it.
Created by me.
Yeah. So my boy works there at Frank's. Go to Frank's. It's in Bellflower. FRONKS. Totally support that place. One of my favorite places. Friday nights, they have karaoke. It's pretty dope.
Yeah, next topic.
pretty
All right,
dope.
next topic. Hold on. I can't read. Hold on. How important is the toilet paper you use? Oh, that's real important.
That's
Listen,
super
I
important.
think it's
my
fucking-
my beehole is already wrecked by all like the Taco Bell and hot sauce that I eat. So when I go up in there, I need like that shit.
That's literally how far he goes too.
Yeah. When I go in the nether, when I go under my undercarriage, I want that shit those bears use on TV.
You're fucking there.
Hey, if I go to your house and you have one ply, like fuck you. They don't even
I'm
have
gonna
one
use the
ply.
whole
in
roll,
prison.
bitch.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit.
Yeah, no. I grew up I'm the oldest of 6. Okay, my mom bought Scott paper, which is
That's
ply.
horrible.
Yeah.
That's like dinner napkins.
So when I got my own room and I started, supplying money for myself, one of the first things that I spent money on was toilet paper. like I went and I'm like, which one? Excuse me, sir, Kyle, come here. Where's your most expensive toilet paper?
That's what he went to fucking work for. You didn't want toys. You didn't want a skateboard or a
Saving
bike.
for a car.
Yeah, no,
I
he
just
wasn't
wanted-
saving for a car.
I
He
He
just
was
wanted
like,
3 plies. He wanted 3
I'm tired of my
plies.
finger popping through the paper.
I wanted cottonelle.
Fuck this shit. My nails always smell like shit.
I wanted that little doggy on the fucking
I'll pay extra. Do I want aloe vera on my tank? Yeah.
Please. Yeah.
Please.
You know what's funny? That shit did not last long because we're so used. Okay, so when you're so used to Scott, you're like, right?
Yeah.
You can't do that with a nice TP.
No,
Because
then I
it's
would mess
gone.
up, and I wouldn't
much.
feel how much I got till I was wiping. I was like, "Oh, I grabbed too much."
Right?
Like when it gets stuck in there, it's really soft. The toilet paper starts feeling like a glove.
I think it's important to say not only toilet paper, but if you want to get clean, you got to use like the baby wipes, like the wet. Yeah, you
Yes.
got to,
Unscented.
or else you'll get an itchy asshole like 4 hours later.
That's because you didn't wipe right.
No, it doesn't know because sometimes it's so bad in there. It's
If
like
you think
Battlefield.
about it, if you get shit on your hands, like you want to wipe it with soap,
Right.
Or something wet, right? You're
Right.
not just gonna like
Yeah.
take a dry paper and like.
True.
So
True.
why treat your ass differently than your
Very
hands?
good point.
That's true.
Your,
Very
your,
good point.
your
I hate it
ass
when you
is
go in there and it's
equally
like a
important as
scene
your
from
hands.
Willy Wonka.
The
You're
reason
like,
I don't use them anymore is because I read too much, and I read that those baby wipes have a lot of chemicals that cause cancer, and it actually faster absorbing through the butthole, so those chemicals
Kinda like
take
drugs.
effect faster.
I welcome
So
butthole
it's
cancer. Bring it.
unlike if I use them for my
Challenge
hands,
accepted.
it would take forever. But if I use it on my butthole, it absorbs
A
faster.
coworker recently asked a question. He likes to do these "Would you rather" type questions, right?
Oh yeah,
And,
that's good. We should do that.
Yeah, shout out to Dan, my coworker, not the director. Fuck him.
Yeah, fuck
But
that guy.
his question was, would you rather
Fuck
every
that
time
guy.
you took a shit, would you rather either A, get your toilet paper and have one good swipe, or B, be able to use your hand but have as many swipes as you want?
Oh, that's hand all
Why
day.
would I do that? What?
There's no why. I asked the
This is
same
just a
thing. Why would I?
fucking-
You have to
Yeah.
choose one.
I'm at work making drinks and he goes, Tony, come here. So would you rather you take a shit, right? Would you rather have one good swipe with toilet paper or as many swipes as you want with your hand? And it's like one of those questions.
Also, whatever ends up happening after that one swipe, like you can't.
Yeah,
go.
you're done.
I thought it was a one swipe
No.
that took care of the whole
No,
business.
no. One
No.
swipe, you're done.
Oh no, hand all day.
Yeah, hand all day.
Yeah,
I
I'm
can wash
fucking
my hand,
scraping that
How about
shit.
you?
I like thick toilet paper.
but just I like it
But you
thick like
get
my
one
women.
swipe. That's
You get
it.
one swipe.
Oh,
One swipe with paper or unlimited swipes with hand. Yeah, right.
You got to think about that.
Tough, right?
That's tough because like
No, it's not tough.
With one swipe with the
Because you
paper,
can wash your hand,
Yeah,
you can always wash your hands.
I've never wiped my ass
but you
once and been
can't
like, I think I'm
re-wipe.
done.
Like it's one wipe. You gotta
Never.
get everything in one wipe.
You can't.
It depends on how wide the paper is, how many times
It's
I
not
can
a beach
fold
tawel.
Yeah,
It's just a
it's not even a fucking workout towel. It's
Yeah.
just
Can
toilet
I
paper.
wet the toilet paper? Like,
That's
because
wet,
if
though.
it's a little damp, then
Yeah.
it might catch more.
You can spit on it.
So we're going hand all the way, right? All right.
Here, pick
Oh,
one
yeah.
more. Pick one
ahead.
more. I
Yeah,
think
We
we
have
covered the
time
ass.
for one more.
I think we covered the ass
We have
enough.
time for one more.
Yeah, we have time for one more. Let's go.
All right.
Peel.
Have you guys ever had your butthole bleached?
I think we
He
covered
already
this, right?
brought that up.
Okay,
Yeah,
we
skip
go
that.
next
Yeah,
one.
I wonder
didn't
who
put that
wrote
in, by the
that.
way.
I wonder who
I didn't
fucking
put that in
For
there.
the
wrote
record,
that
no.
question.
You black.
His would
Yeah, I
look
heard
like
they do it.
darker
I heard they do
Cisco.
it.
Yeah.
Have you ever woke up next to a chick and not know her name?
Ooh, no.
I've never woken
Maybe.
next to a chick. So I'm out. You guys take this. That's all you guys.
No,
What?
no.
Yeah, no.
I'm usually very
I'm
aware
dead
of who I
inside.
sleep with.
Yeah.
I'm sad.
I did. There is a one of the. I think
hate my life.
I can count on one hand how many times
Shit,
I've
I
blacked
think I
out.
did.
I think it's been twice. Okay, so I went to a party by myself, which you don't do that. Okay, you always bring a friend. All right.
Not according to he'll go by himself.
Well, yeah. Well, bring a friend. No, we were drinking Bacardi rum, and this was a long time ago. Okay. I drank so much that I fell asleep in the restroom with my foot against the door, so they couldn't get in. And when they finally did get in, they picked me up, put me on the couch, and let me sleep. And I woke up next to a rather large woman, right?
Yeah.
But on the couch?
On the couch.
That don't
right?
count.
No. What I'm saying is there was fear.
What does large mean? What does large mean? I don't know what that word means.
It's not limited
How
by
is she
size.
large? Yeah, I don't look at people and see size.
He was talking about her
Compared to a
ego.
celebrity.
Adele before 22.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like it.
I liked her during 19.
What?
She was fine with me.
No. Well, anyways, nothing happened. It was just that was one of those rare nights where I realized there's certain liquors that I can't have Wild Turkey and I can't have Bacardi rum.
Just because you wake next to you wake up next to fat
because I
chicks?
blacked out. That's not allowed
Oh,
with me.
my bad.
Like, no.
You don't black out?
No. I don't. Have you seen me drunk? Maybe once ever?
I've seen you drunk a bunch of times.
I don't think so.
I don't know if you end up blacking out, but
I
you
think-
drink a grip.
I've seen him drink a lot. He's probably an alcoholic.
Probably. I have to say, by the
that
way,
was supposed to stay inside my head.
I have to say, by the
That's
way,
next episode.
All our secrets are coming out
I
tonight.
just want to be honest. I did wake up next to somebody without knowing their name, and we did have sex, and I don't remember her name. I still don't remember her name. It was at a comedy show in Ventura. I stayed at my buddy's house.
Hey, if you're out there,
She tagged along with us. Sorry, I don't remember your name. You're really nice. You're really
Dad?
nice.
Dad?
Like the video.
He's like fucking 5 years younger than me. I'm like, yeah, I didn't fucking knock her up when I was 6, bro. I'm good with that.
You're Latino, man.
That's true. That's true.
We got our sperm
developed
at like 8.
semen real early.
I lost my virginity inside the ball pit at a Chuck E. Cheese.
You want to do one more? Or are we done?
I don't know if we have one more.
I think that was.
Oh, we
that
know
was
we
the
have one
last
more.
Yeah.
No, yeah,
No,
yeah,
we're
we
good.
have
No,
one more.
No.
Well,
no.
while he's opening that up, viewers, put in a comment, just a little topic. We'll throw it in the bag next week.
You know what? Yeah, and do that. Nah, I mean,
Yeah,
fuck.
no,
okay,
Brian,
This
We're
is
good.
stupid. Dan probably wrote it.
No, it's not stupid. First of all, Dan did not write it because he doesn't have this nice writing. But Mo, my thing was actually, can we cut that, please? My thing was actually video versus either writing or written. Meaning, like, how do you like to consume your information? Do you prefer to read? Do you prefer to watch it? How do you like to consume your info?
I'll say I'm half on each. There's certain information I like to visually see, and then there's certain information that I like to read because I feel like when you read something, you can always go back and just check a certain fact or a different aspect of what you've read. When you're watching, a lot of times it's live, it's going, and you have to keep it up with what's being said. And
You
don't
can research that too, though.
You could, and you can also back it up on your DVR. But I mean that takes a lot of effort sometimes when you're
So it
trying
just
to watch.
depends on your energy level, whether you're going to watch it.
Or whether or not you want to push a button or not.
Exactly. Or if you could find a remote.
Always written.
Always written.
The only videos I pay close attention to is porn. Always written.
I like to read porn episodes.
Just subtitles.
Porn.
Yeah, just
comic
subtitles. Just subtitles, just good stories.
Japanese porn.
Well, look, man, thank you for joining us, Joseph. It
Thanks
was
for
a
having me.
pleasure. What is it again? Joe
J.
J. Page, Paige.
Put that I on it.
Across all social media?
Across all social
Across
media.
all
respect on your
social
name.
Put some
media.
respect on that eye.
Yeah.
Black Twitter. Later, I'll be tweeting Black Twitter. You can follow me live on Twitter.
I gave him, if I don't hate me,
yeah.
Black Twitter, I gave him a 4-hour pass.
Hey,
He has
please don't
4
block me.
hours.
Please let me in.
Yeah, let him in.
He has 4
Look for
hours.
your
to
vanilla
get on
gorilla.
there.
He
on
only
Black
hates
Twitter.
He
Yeah.
only hates Jewish people.
Yeah, that's true.
Thank you guys for joining us. This has been the Speakeasy Podcast. Josh, Walter, Tony, and our new friend, Joseph. Come back next time. Stay tuned. Follow us and like our shit. Thank you guys for joining us. Bump it up, DJ Mario Lopez.
That's my boys.
Effin' Vodka. Sponsor us.